Okay guys, so I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about how our first test went. I know that having a test on the first day back after a long weekend can be a little bit difficult, but I was hoping with it being open note and open book that you guys would succeed, and a lot of you did really well, and I'm super proud of you guys for how you did. If you didn't do so well, it's gonna be okay. It's really important that you guys know how to use the book and know how to refer back to your book when you have questions. So let's just kind of flip through the first 5 or so questions. I'm going to pull it up on my computer so I can look at it too. So the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 questions were all going to be terms-based questions. I'm a little disappointed if you guys missed these questions because they were provided in the warm-up section and on the PowerPoint. So this was an open note test. There's really no reason that you guys should have missed the first 8 questions. Those were very gimme. They were cut and dry in my PowerPoint that I put out today that you guys were allowed to use as your notes. So if you got those wrong, I'm really going to need you guys to pay attention to the PowerPoint. The information is there for a reason, and I did you guys a favor letting this be open note. So please just make sure that you're paying attention and you're using your resources. When you're taking your STAR test, you're going to have access to a dictionary and your passage that you're reading, so there's really no reason to miss those kinds of questions, especially if they're just definitions, and we went over those definitions a couple of times. So just make sure that you're not missing things that are gimme points, and those first 8 questions are gimme points. So just to kind of go over them, number 1, a claim is going to be a main idea of an essay or a thesis statement. So we went over that. That definition was on the very first slide that we had out today. Concrete details are going to be facts and evidence. Again, that's another thing that has been on multiple PowerPoints. It was on the PowerPoint the day of the test that you guys were able to use for your notes. A counterclaim is the opposition's position on a topic, so that's going to be the opposite of the claim. If the claim says the sky is blue, the counterclaim says the sky is green. They're different. Those are going to be your 2 different sides of the argument. The rebuttal is going to weaken the counterclaim. Again, that definition was on the PowerPoint on the very first definition, or the very first slide. It was on there. So starting with number 5, those definitions were all on the second slide of the test day PowerPoint that you guys are supposed to look at. Which part of a linear plot introduces the conflict? That's going to be a rising action. And I'm just going to go through these quickly because they're all on the PowerPoint and these were terms-based, and we'll talk about corrections at the end of the video. So during which stage of the linear plot are all conflicts resolved? That's going to be your resolution. That's how you resolve. Good way to remember this one is all conflicts are resolved, resolution. Those sound a lot the same. They have the same root word of resolve. So make sure you remember that. Which part of linear plot introduces the setting? That's going to be your exposition. The expedition is the introduction. So that would logically be where you introduce the setting. The turning point during a linear plot is the climax. The climax is when the action is at the very peak. So if this is your linear plot, the action is where my fingers meet at the top. That's going to be the climax. That's going to be your turning point. From here, you're rising up into your action, you're meeting the peak of your action, and then you're turning down, and it's going back down, and you're having your falling